Did Karen just turn heartbreak into all-out war? In a moment that silenced the hospital and left everyone stunned, Karen didn't just cry, she detonated. Her pain, raw and unresolved, exploded into something far more dangerous: vengeance. And with one ruthless sentence, she dragged Fatima's secret pregnancy into the spotlight. Not out of sorrow, but out of spite. You thought season 9 couldn't get more intense after the loss? Think again. Because in episode 4, Karen doesn't just grieve. She breaks the game, flips the script, and leaves every single relationship hanging by a thread. The fallout? Oh, it's coming fast, and no one is safe. The episode kicks off in that same cold, sterile hospital room where Karen lies shattered, not just physically, but emotionally scorched by the stillbirth. Her face is pale, her hands barely moving, but her eyes, they're raging. The pain hasn't dulled. It's sharpened, twisted, ready to cut. And sitting next to her, clueless to the storm about to break, are Pam and Miss Lisa, trying to offer comfort. But Karen isn't looking for comfort. She's drowning in betrayal, feeling the weight of everything she's lost. Not just the child, but her place, her pride, her sense of control. And when you've lost everything, what's left to lose? Then come the girls, Danny, Sabrina, and Andy, trying to show support, trying to hold the room together with soft voices and careful words. But you can feel the tension crawling up Karen's spine. She's hearing them talk, nodding maybe, but inside, she's unraveling. She's remembering Zach. She's remembering how he promised stability, how he used to look at her like she was the only one. She's remembering the moment she found out about Fatima's pregnancy, the dagger she's been keeping hidden under her tongue. But today she doesn't want to be strong. Today she wants someone to hurt as badly as she does. And then it happens. No warning, no build-up, just a sharp inhale, a shaking voice, and boom. Karen lifts her head, eyes full of fire, and says it loud enough to crush the air out of the room. While I'm losing my baby, she's carrying his like she won. Gasps. Silence. No one moves. She didn't just say it. She launched it. Fatima's secret, the one only a few people knew about, just went public in the most painful, savage way possible. Pam's jaw drops. Miss Lisa looks like the wind just got knocked out of her. And the girls? Frozen. Because they all know, this wasn't grief. This was a weapon. A shot fired straight into the heart of Fatima's peace. Karen didn't just slip up, she wanted this out. She wanted everyone to know. Because if she has to live with this pain, then no one gets to walk away untouched. And the timing? Brutal. Zach isn't even in the room yet. He's pacing the hallway, debating whether to come in, oblivious to the emotional bomb Karen just set off. But inside the room, everything's different now. The mood shifts from grief to shock, from support to tension. Karen, still lying in that bed, seems almost calm, like she got something off her chest that had been eating her alive. But the damage? Irreversible. The trust? Gone. The silence that held this fragile circle of friends together? Shattered. Andy steps out, phone shaking in her hand. She doesn't know how to explain this to Fatima. How do you say, hey, your man's ex just blasted your pregnancy to the whole hospital? There's no soft way to deliver that kind of betrayal. But Andy knows. Fatima needs to know. Because if Karen went this far once, who's to say what she'll do next? The call connects. Fatima answers with her usual warmth, maybe even a bit of joy in her voice. And then Andy says it. Karen told them. Everyone. It's out. Silence. Not a gasp, not a scream, just silence. Because in that one moment, Fatima doesn't just hear the words, she feels the betrayal. Not just from Karen, but from a world that keeps pushing her to be the bigger person, the calm one, the forgiving one. But this crossed every line. Andy tries to explain. She's grieving. It wasn't meant to hurt you, but even she doesn't believe it anymore. And Fatima? Her voice turns ice. She used my pregnancy to hurt people. Not a question, a fact, a declaration, a promise that things will never be the same again. And that's just the beginning. While Fatima sits in stunned silence, the world around her spins. Her hand instinctively rests on her belly, that protective grip all mothers understand. But this isn't just about her anymore. This is about the life inside her, the relationship she's tried so hard to protect, and the line Karen just stomped all over without remorse. The pain Fatima feels isn't loud. It's silent, still, dangerous. She doesn't yell, she doesn't cry, she just shuts down. That's when you know something inside her snapped. And just a few floors away, Zach is still pacing, staring at the hospital wall like it might give him answers. His gut has been screaming at him since he got the call about Karen, and now it's deafening. He scrolls through his phone, hesitating before texting Andy again. Is she okay? Should I come in now? No reply. Just those 3 dots. Then nothing. That's when his phone finally rings. It's Andy. Her voice is shaky, low, measured. She tries to start with pleasantries, telling him Karen's physically stable, that the doctors say she needs rest. But Zach cuts her off. He knows Andy, knows that tone. And when she finally says it, she told them about the baby. Zach just stops. Silence. He blinks, stares into space, then says, almost whispering, "She did what?" Andy tries to cushion it, repeating the same excuses. Grief, confusion, emotional instability, but none of that matters to Zach. His jaw tightens, his fists clench. That secret wasn't just between him and Fatima, it was a piece of peace they were trying to hold on to in a world constantly pulling them apart. And now, it's public. It's being whispered in hospital corridors. It's being judged, twisted, dissected. Zach doesn't say much after that, just a cold thanks before he hangs up. He doesn't even tell Andy where he's going. But we know. He's not walking into that hospital room with flowers and soft words. No, he's walking in with fire. Meanwhile, back at home, Fatima hasn't moved. She's sitting in the same spot on the couch, her face blank, her thoughts racing. She hasn't called anyone, hasn't messaged the girls. She's letting the silence thicken around her, letting it weigh on her chest like armor. Because if she speaks too soon, she'll say something she can't take back. And if she reacts the way she wants to, it won't be pretty. That's when the door creaks open. Zach steps in, eyes already searching for her. And when he sees her, silent, still, unreadable, he knows she knows. He doesn't even have to ask. Fatima speaks first, her voice calm but hollow. Did you know? He shakes his head. Just found out. She doesn't look up, doesn't move, just asks one more question, the one that's been tearing her apart since Andy called, "Why does she hate me that much?" And Zach doesn't have an answer, because deep down, he knows this wasn't just grief. This was something Karen chose to do. And while he's tried to be gentle, tried to give Karen space to heal, this went too far. And now, it's personal. Fatima finally turns to him, her hands still resting on her belly, her voice sharp and steady. You better handle that. Because if she comes for me or this baby again, I won't be calm next time. Zach doesn't argue. He doesn't try to reason with her, because he knows she means every single word. And he also knows this isn't just about Karen anymore. This is about the respect that's been stripped away, the boundaries that have been ignored, the patience that's finally run out. And just like that, the relationship Zach tried so hard to balance, his past with Karen and his future with Fatima, is tipping dangerously. One side is burning, the other ready to explode. Back at the hospital, Karen's lying in bed, but she's not crying anymore. She's quiet, still, but her eyes, focused, sharp. And that's what makes it even more terrifying, because this isn't the Karen who was lost in grief. This is the Karen who feels justified, the one who believes she was owed something and that Fatima took it. Miss Lisa tries to calm her, her voice soft and maternal. Baby, you've been through enough. Don't let this pain turn you into something you're not. But Karen doesn't flinch. She doesn't blink. She just says, "It's already too late." Pam walks in a minute later, trying to act casual. She mumbles something about fresh flowers at the front desk, but everyone knows why she's really there. To see how bad the damage is. And when Karen turns to her, stone-faced, and says, "Let them talk. I want them to." You realize something chilling. Karen wanted this. She didn't just lash out. She made a decision. She decided that if she was going to lose everything, then so was everyone else. And that twisted sense of justice, It's growing, feeding on her pain, brewing into something no one, not even her closest friends, knows how to stop. The next morning doesn't bring peace, it brings whispers. The news has spread like wildfire. Somehow, by the time the sun rises, the entire friend group knows. Not just about Fatima's pregnancy, but how it came out. The hospital staff's been talking. The stories reached the receptionist, the nurse's station, even the cafeteria. Karen's meltdown wasn't just explosive, it was public. And now Fatima's business is on everyone's lips. Back at Andy's apartment, the girls gather in silence. Danny, Sabrina, and Andy sit in the living room, unsure of what to say. They're supposed to be Karen's friends. But this crossed a line they didn't think she was capable of crossing. Danny, never one to hold back, is the first to break the silence. She didn't just spill tea, she burned the whole kitchen down. Andy tries to defend her, again, saying things like, she's grieving and she didn't mean to hurt anyone. But the truth is sinking in deeper now. This wasn't accidental. Karen made a choice, a conscious, deliberate choice to detonate a secret that was never hers to expose. And worse, she did it while knowing exactly how it would land, like shrapnel cutting through everything. Sabrina shifts uncomfortably. But Fatima didn't deserve that. She's never done anything to her, and that's the truth that stings most. Because Fatima has never attacked Karen. Not once. Not even when she had reason to. She's always kept her cool, always played the bigger person. But now, the silence has cost her. Meanwhile, Fatima still hasn't called anyone, not even her girls. She doesn't want comfort. She wants space. She wants time to think. And she wants answers Zach can't give. Because this isn't about the past anymore. It's about the future. Her future. And whether or not she can trust that Zach has truly let go of Karen, or if he's still tangled in her chaos. Zach, for his part, is spiraling. He's tried to call Karen twice. No answer. Tried texting Pam, and all she said was, she's resting. Best to give her space. But Zach doesn't want space. He wants closure. He wants to understand how someone he once loved could weaponize the very thing she claimed to care about, his child. He heads to the hospital anyway, not sure what he's going to say. Maybe he wants an apology. Maybe he wants to yell. Maybe he just wants to look her in the eye and see if there's anything left of the woman he once thought he'd spend his life with. When he arrives, Karen's sitting up in bed, calm, too calm. The room is quiet. Miss Lisa is there, flipping through a magazine, pretending not to listen. But her eyes are watching every move. Zach steps in, doesn't say anything at first, just looks at Karen. She meets his gaze. No shame, no guilt, just that same icy detachment. Then he says it, his voice low but firm. Why would you do that? Karen doesn't flinch, doesn't even blink, just answers. Because I was tired of pretending like it didn't hurt. Zach shakes his head. You didn't just hurt me. You hurt her. You humiliated her. Karen's lips curl slightly, not quite a smirk, but close. And you think I haven't been humiliated? That's when Zach realizes this isn't the woman he used to love. This is someone else, someone broken, someone angry, someone who's chosen pain over peace. And she's not sorry, not even a little. He doesn't stay long. There's nothing left to say. But as he leaves, he knows the ripple effect of this one decision is just beginning. Back at home, Fatima finally gets up, picks up her phone. She's not calling Andy, not calling Danny or Sabrina. She's calling her lawyer. Because if Karen wants to start a war, Fatima's going to fight it legally. She's done playing nice, done pretending this will go away if she just stays quiet. She's documenting everything now, every message, every confrontation, because if Karen tries anything again, there won't be another warning. There'll be consequences. Later that day, Andy gets a call from Gary. He's heard about the blow-up. Of course he has. Word travels fast, and even he, who barely gets involved in the girls' drama, sounds shocked. Karen really did that? That's not just messy. That's dangerous. Andy knows he's right, and for the first time, she doesn't rush to defend Karen. She just sighs and says, I don't know who she is anymore. That night, Karen sits alone in her hospital room, staring at the ceiling. Everyone's gone. No Pam, no Lisa, no friends, just silence. And maybe That's what she wanted, but maybe now it's too late to turn back. Because once trust is broken like this, once you expose someone's most private truth just to make yourself feel seen, there's no fixing that. There's only fallout. Everything that was once unspoken has now been laid bare, and the damage is irreversible. Karen's confession wasn't just a breakdown, it was a calculated strike, a cry for help wrapped in barbed wire. But what she didn't realize was that the moment she spoke those words, publicly exposing Fatima's pregnancy, she didn't just burn one bridge, she scorched the entire foundation holding this group together. And now, that foundation is crumbling beneath everyone's feet. It starts with Fatima, no longer content to stay quiet, no longer willing to be the bigger person. Her silence has been misunderstood for weakness, but now she's done being patient. She makes one call, to her lawyer, not to sue, not yet, but to document every call, every message, every emotional manipulation, because she's not just protecting herself now, she's protecting her child. And if Karen thinks she can use this pregnancy as a pawn in some emotional war, Fatima's about to show her what it means to go toe-to-toe with a woman who has everything to lose. Zach tries to fix things, but the truth is, he's lost control. He thought he could navigate the space between his past and his present, but that space has collapsed. Karen's actions didn't just hurt Fatima, they exposed Zach's failure to create real distance from his past. And Fatima sees that now. She's not angry at him for Karen's meltdown, she's angry that it was even possible. That Karen still felt close enough to Zach to feel entitled to his future. So when Zach promises to handle it, Fatima doesn't smile. She doesn't soften, she just says, "If you don't, I will." That's not a threat. It's a fact. And Zach hears the finality in her tone. He knows this is his last chance to prove that he's chosen his future over his past. Meanwhile, Karen is spinning a different story. To Pam, to Miss Lisa, even to herself. She's framing it as a slip, a moment of vulnerability, a tragic accident brought on by grief. But Pam isn't buying it anymore. She saw the look in Karen's eyes. She heard the venom in her voice. And Miss Lisa, she's not angry, she's disappointed, which for Karen feels even worse. In a quiet moment, Miss Lisa pulls her aside, looks her in the eye, and says, "Pain doesn't give you the right to hurt people who didn't cause it." Karen says nothing. Because deep down, she knows it's true, but she's in too deep now to admit it. She's already lost so much. Admitting guilt would mean losing control too. And control is the only thing she has left. The girls, Andy, Danny, Sabrina, they're all caught in the middle, torn between loyalty and logic. They love Karen, but this shook them. Andy especially is exhausted. She's tried so hard to keep peace between Karen and Fatima, but it's clear now, peace was never on Karen's agenda. And Danny, she's furious. She's never been one to sugarcoat things, and this time is no different. She pulls Karen aside and says flat out, "You didn't grieve. You got even." The words land hard. Karen pretends not to react, but her silence says everything. By the end of the episode, nothing feels whole. Zach returns home, emotionally drained, hoping Fatima will let him explain one more time. But the look in her eyes isn't one of fury, it's detachment. She's tired of fighting to be seen, tired of trying to prove she's not a threat to Zach's past. He asks her softly, "What can I do to make this right?" And she responds just as softly, "Make sure she knows she's not part of our story anymore." It's a warning, but also a final test. Fatima's heart is still in it, but not at the expense of her peace. Not anymore. And Karen, she's not done. Not by a long shot. She's already started painting herself as the victim in conversations, telling people she was just overwhelmed, that she didn't know what she was saying, but the truth keeps creeping in. Every time someone looks at her differently, every time a friend goes quiet, every time Pam won't meet her eyes, she's realizing that the explosion she started didn't just hurt others, it isolated her. And now, she's alone in it. The episode ends not with a scream, not with another breakdown, but with a stillness that's almost scarier, a quiet before the next storm. Because this isn't over. Karen's outburst may have exposed Fatima's pregnancy, but it also exposed something much deeper. The cracks in every relationship around her. Trust is gone, loyalty is fading, and no one knows what Karen's next move will be. But one thing's for sure, if this is the new Karen, the one who uses secrets like weapons and grief like armor, then everyone better stay ready. Because she's not healing, she's plotting. And the next time she strikes, it won't be out of pain, it'll be out of power.